Tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world.
Well, it's Liberation Day across America, according to President Donald Trump. But what does that actually mean?
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. It's the only way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. So Donald Trump has set into place what he calls reciprocal tariffs. In other words, all these nations that we are so-called involved with free trade, it's not really free. They charge tariffs on everything coming from the United States into their countries, and we basically, by and large, charge nothing for their stuff coming into here. Now, the problem with that, under the NAFTA agreement, is that back in the day, Ross Perot was right. There are many on the Republican side of the aisle that blame Ross Perot for George Bush's loss to Bill Clinton. But the honest truth is this: Perot was right. And in that famous debate moment when both Bill Clinton and George H.W. Bush were on the same side of an argument regarding NAFTA, it was Ross Perot who said, "The only thing that NAFTA is going to result in is a giant sucking sound of American jobs going overseas." And that is exactly what happened. As a result of that, we have the Rust Belt across the Northeast, these great manufacturing hubs that President Roosevelt referred to during World War II as the arsenal of democracy, which is really how we won World War II. We were able to out-manufacture the Axis powers. We could build more boats. We could build more submarines. We could build more planes. We could build more tanks. We could build them faster and better. We had the manpower to just absolutely overwhelm the enemy. That is exactly how we wiped out Adolf Hitler and took on Japan. We out-manufactured them. The problem we have right now is that oftentimes it is our enemies, it are countries that do not like the United States. They have most of our manufacturing now. That is stupid with a capital stew. And what Donald Trump is trying to do is achieve two things with these tariffs. Number one, yes, it is about time that other countries paid their fair share. We provide them military, and yet they tack on, in some places, 100 to 600% levels of tariffs on certain goods coming into their nation. On the other hand, we charge nothing for their stuff coming into here. As a result of that, we decimated our auto industry. We killed our steel industry. And what we have done is this idea that some of you have, the capitalism, they shipped our jobs overseas just so they could have a better bottom line here. Stop and think about what you just said. Think it through. Why is it cheaper for an American-based company to move all of their manufacturing overseas, have it built there, which means they got to build the factories and the infrastructure there, build the product, and then ship it back here, and they can sell it for a better profit than if it was built here? See, we've done that to ourselves. Don't blame that on quote-unquote capitalism. No, we've done that to ourselves because we haven't protected the American workforce. And what Donald Trump is trying to do is put that protection back in place. And yeah, the American auto industry has been decimated as a result of that. And you've got all the experts today talking about now that the tariffs have officially gone in, why the stock market is crashing. Well, actually, the global stock market is crashing. See, we have been subject to this global, if you want to call it, new world order that is absolutely, they got one goal in mind: benefit their own nations and at the same time choke out and destroy the United States of America. And what this has done today, I understand some of you have taken some hits in your own personal stock portfolio. Donald Trump said during the campaign, it's going to be rough for a while, but if we can grit our teeth, grin and bear it, and get through it, for the long term, we're not playing checkers now, we're playing chess. The long-term strategy, this benefits America. And remember, the same people that today are crying and the so-called economy experts that are saying that how awful this is, remember what they were just saying about 5 years ago.
Take inflation very seriously.
Economists call all these things transitory effects.
These one-time increases in prices are likely to have only transitory effects on inflation.
There will be transitory impacts as it relates to inflation.
I believe it's transitory.
Temporary, transitory impact.
In the end, it will be transitory.
These inflation rises will be transitory, that they will come back down next year.
Inflation is going to come down next year.
Inflation will come down next year.
Talking inflation. The overwhelming consensus is it's going to pop up a little bit and then go back down.
People fully expect this inflation to be temporary.
There's nobody suggesting there's unchecked inflation on the way. No serious economist.
The president's Build Back Better agenda as a whole will ease some of that inflationary pressure.
The bipartisan infrastructure deal and Build Back Better agenda could likely ease inflationary pressures.
It will ease longer-term inflationary pressure.
Well, let's break that down a little bit. Under Donald Trump, we saw an overall rise in inflation of about 7.1%. That's over 4 years. Joe Biden, on the other hand, over 4 years, depending on which numbers you look at, was anywhere from 19 to 21% increase over 4 years. Wages only rose about 19.4%, which means wages didn't keep up with the cost of living. Overall, under Donald Trump, inflation rose about 1.9% a year. Under Joe Biden, it rose 5.4% each year. Stop and think about that. Under Joe Biden, your rent doubled, your cost of groceries doubled, the price of gas at the pump doubled. I know you want everything to come down immediately. The problem is the last administration and this whole philosophy that both the establishment Republicans and Democrats have been in on for the past 25 years of this so-called free trade globalism. It has benefited the European nations, it has benefited our enemies, and it has destroyed the United States. Our electronics and our medications are manufactured in China. If we were to go to war tomorrow, we don't build anything here. You heard some economists today say, as soon as these tariffs went into effect, immediately even our own auto industry was affected. We've got to stop this madness. Well, the problem is that Ford and General Motors are American-based companies, and most of the vehicles are being assembled overseas and then shipped here. Very few cars from American auto manufacturers are built here. Only one American automaker builds 100% of their American cars here. Tesla. And the left has declared war on them and is trying to set fire to dealerships and blow up the product. Even though before Elon Musk began hanging out with Donald Trump, he was seen as the savior of the planet. And Joe Biden and the Democrats were trying to put legislation in places in states and across the country that basically by the year 2030, you would be forced to drive an electric vehicle, i.e. a Tesla. And all these is he gets attacked for leading Doge and trying to find ways to cut the wasteful spending. Everybody wants to talk about on the left that Elon Musk has all these big government contracts. He didn't get those contracts from Trump. He got them from Joe Biden. I'm not an economist. But these so-called economic geniuses that predicted we were going to do so well under Biden, how'd that work out for you personally? It's going to be a little rough right now. But when this balances out, we're going to be glad because it's going to bring American manufacturing back. It's going to increase revenue into our country through the tariffs, which means there is the possibility income tax could go bye. Because that is how, at one time, America was financed. Through import tax. Call it tariff. And you've got certain economists running around and certain guys on the GOP side like Rand Paul, and I like Rand Paul, saying, this is tantamount to a tax. Well, we'll trade this tax for the income tax. Because ultimately, wouldn't it be great if you had more control over your money? It's going to affect supply chains a little bit. It is. But it's going to motivate American companies, get your manufacturing back here where it belongs. And on the long term, not the short term, in the long term, that's going to build us a better economy and even build you a better stock portfolio. Breathe. Don't panic. Let this play out. We're already seeing Canada, who had threatened to turn off our electric in places like New York, are now saying, we'll eliminate all taxes on American goods if you eliminate all tariffs on our stuff coming in. Now they're trying to say, we want to help America. Now, are you kidding? Their whole population is 35 million people? That's about 3 states worth here in the U.S. No, it's Canada that can't afford it. And by the way, yeah, the European nation will make it a little uncomfortable for a while. I got a recommendation on that, Mr. President. Pull all of our troops out of all NATO nations. Especially nations like Germany, who, they're trying to lead the charge with the EU about, really hitting the U.S. hard with tariffs as a result of this. Good. You know what? You don't need our protection anymore. So therefore, we're pulling all military out of Germany. It is a trade war. It's going to be tough. But in the end, if we don't lose our grit, and we stand firm, you're going to see everything come way down and your standard of living go up. That's the trade-off.